Hey, what's going on, guys? So as of this recording, I've been married for almost 8.5 years, so definitely much later than I would have liked to release this video, but better late than never. So at the beginning of year 8, I didn't do so well. In the year 7 video, I mentioned about how I keep cutting my wife off when she's speaking, and unfortunately, I didn't start off doing that well with that area. So I finally got my bearings, and I'd say towards the middle of the year, I finally started trying to listen a little bit more when she's speaking. Even if she's said it before, I have to, tell myself, hey, regardless of whether or not she's said this before, I should still listen. It doesn't really matter if I've heard it before. So that's something that I've definitely been working on. And of course, when we stop and listen to each other, the conversation usually goes much better, and we're able to talk about it and come up with a solution that's agreeable to both of us. Because the way I see it, I'm going to spend time talking about it and coming up with a solution that we both like, or I'm going to spend time, cutting her off, and then we both get angry at each other for a day or two, then we bring it back up again, and we keep cutting each other off and not listening and so on. So either way, it's going to take a long time, but I think the more pleasant way of doing it is taking the time to listen to each other. One thing I've noticed is when I'm extremely frustrated about something, definitely I am more prone to start cutting her off. So what I've started doing is taking breaks. There was a time when I remember it was a Saturday afternoon and we sat down to talk about something, and she remained calm, but I was the one getting frustrated. And I said to myself, you know what? I need a break. And I told her I need a break. And I sat for 2 hours, and I'm reading this book that's called Fight Fair. It's about conflict in marriage. And one of the things it encourages us to ask is, what do you want? What do you want from this conversation? Are you trying to be right, or are you trying to convey to your spouse how you feel about something? And I like the second one better. And so I sat for those 2 hours and I thought to myself, what do I want? What am I trying to get out of this? Am I just trying to get my way? Because if I'm just trying to get my way, I'm not really going to get my way long term anyway. Right? So then 2 hours later, I said, can we talk? And I calmly stated to her my view of that issue. And then we went back and forth and so on. And alhamdulillah, that one also went well. So we're also being more vulnerable with each other right now. I know you're saying, well, 8 years and you're barely being vulnerable. Well, people go 10, 15 years and, they still have that issue with that wall being built up, that barrier of communication being built up where they're never really truly open with each other. So yeah, we've been vulnerable, but now we're even the small things that we might just let go but then they build up over time and we get angry with each other. Now we're trying to deal with those things more as time goes on. Deal with those things immediately, not wait till the end when somebody blows up and we try and air out all the dirty laundry all at once. One thing also that I've been reflecting on this last year is how much benefit my wife has brought to my life. And I'm not just saying this for the video. I'm actually honestly thinking about it. So I'm realizing that it's not a good idea to have a spouse that just agrees with you on everything. It's always a good idea to have someone who challenges whatever views you have. And one thing I've learned is that we make better decisions when we work together. When we think about things together, it's better than something we could have come up with on our own. Also, she helps me summarize the things that I'm trying to talk about better than I can, because sometimes I like to ramble. Well, all the time I like to ramble, but I'll be saying something and then she'll cut me off gently. It's not a big thing where in the course of conversation, sometimes you go back and forth. So she'll cut in and say, well, you're trying to say this, and she'll summarize it in just a short, beautiful way. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. So that's one thing I do enjoy about her as well. And then also I like how she, kind of coaches me on certain things that maybe I didn't pick up, growing up. Right. So I am overly helpful, you could say sometimes, that to the point where it's to my own detriment. And I like to give people advice. So things that I learn, I like to give advice to people and say, hey, this is how you should do things. That's how you should do things. And she had to encourage me one time, don't give people too much unsolicited advice, because a lot of times they're not going to take it anyway. Right. So definitely, I think once again, this year went pretty well. Alhamdulillah, not really any major shakeups. The standard things that happen to you dealing with other people, that's life, because life isn't perfect. But overall, I think our relationship is definitely going well, and we're still growing. There's still a lot of work I need to do. Inshallah, the next video, I'm going to tell you that most of the time, I don't cut her off when she's speaking. That's one thing I really need to just focus on hardcore this year. But overall, I think everything else is going pretty well. And I'll see you in the year 9 video. Talk to you guys later. Assalamu alaikum.